How long have you been struggling? You have emotional outbursts, a mix of self-loathing thoughts pretty much every day. You're either frustrated about what's going on in your life, or you have anger, sadness, resentment, shame, and you don't know your way out of it. And when you're supposed to feel joy, you start feeling nothing. You're scared in engaging in happy activities, particularly with your family. And if you have kids, you would love to be the role model of a mom or dad for them. You want to be healthy because you don't want to disappear from their life. But you want a relationship. You want a real connection. And somehow when it comes to family reunions or happy gatherings or go sledding on the hill, you feel nothing. You retrieve into your own dark forest. And so maybe you feel you're a failure as a parent. The reality is you're just struggling. And it didn't preclude you from being successful, by the way. You managed your way through, survived whatever happened to you, and became maybe a corporate leader, maybe an artist, a successful professional. You built a life, you survived and thrived. And that's fantastic. But how long has it been that inside you're still feeling some level of miserableness? And there's very few people you can talk to about that. And it doesn't seem to get better. How old are you now? It took me probably close to 50 years to get to true freedom from this. So what is happening there? Why do we have these outbursts of emotions? Why can't we connect with the people we love the most? What's going on? And how come we can be high-functioning individuals in the corporate world or in our job and feel such a failure in our personal life? This feeling likely comes from traumatic experiences in your life. For me, it was childhood sexual abuse with my grandfather, of all people. Most of the time, it comes from family members or people that the kids know. My dad had PTSD, so I witnessed some oddly violent, not physically violent, but oddly violent episodes in my household when I was little. And then when I was 10 years old, he passed in the house overnight with no precursor, no alert, no safety alarm saying, hey, something's going wrong. Became an orphan overnight with a young mom, widower, and a very smaller brother. Became a sort of second mom for him. I managed my way through medical school. I managed my way through coming to the US, joining the corporate world, being successful. And then, I won't tell you the whole thing because there's tons of other stories there, but I ended up having a son. And when my son turned 4, that's when I got the flashbacks. And that was the signal for me that when it started for me, it was when I was 4. And I was like, how do I get out of this? Can I get out of it? So bottom line is, you may have these emotional peaks in your life that you don't have control over. You don't know how to manage. It's the body keeps the score. It's all in our body. So what is happening there? We have gone through a certain level of trauma in our past. And for you, it might be something absolutely horrendous, or it could be nothing at all that you can recall as something really like big T trauma. Like you would explain some memory from your past to a friend and think, well, that's not trauma. That's not big T trauma. That's not the reason I'm like this. Well, the news is, yeah, it might be actually. The trauma that impacts you today doesn't have to be a big T trauma from the past. It could be repeated small T traumas, or it could be really insidious things happening in your life. And they impact you the same way. Maybe not as obvious than other traumas, but they do impact you. And so this is what I learned over the years. And since my son turned 4, up until more recently, these symptoms that I had, the outbursts of emotion, the self-loathing thoughts, they just got worse every day, just got worse. And I was still super successful in my professional world. No one knew. Nobody knows. And you don't want to talk about it. So therapy was definitely not something I tried a long time ago, but It was not something that would work for me. And in fact, as I was looking for other ways to fix this, I was like, so if I need to find any type of practitioner, whatever the modality they use, to help me out, it means, that's what I thought, it means I'm going to have to talk about what happened to me. And I don't want to talk about what happened to me. So I got news for you. You don't need to talk about what happened to you to get help. You don't. Oh, and by the way, another news for you. It's overcomable. There is a way out of the woods. There is a way out of the long tunnel of suffering. But in order to find it, you first need to choose that change is possible for you. I have been in private Facebook group with people like me, having gone through horrendous trauma. And 80% of the time, people are suffering in this moment. They have the courage to talk about what happens to them in a private group on Facebook. And they basically say, that's the way it is. I have to live with this now for the rest of my life. And frankly, that's the belief system that we have built in this society. That one, when you have trauma, you need to move on, not move through it, move on, move, like put it on the side, put it under the rug, put it in the closet with the skeletons. Don't revisit it. Just move on. You have survived now. Your house burned down. Well, you're alive now. Just move on. Get another house. Your cat has died. Just get another cat. We deny ourselves, and our kids, by the way, the right to process the trauma. And processing the trauma means we need some time and we need to process it out of our body. How do we do that? So there are ways to do that, but we're not taught that. So we believe that we're going to have to live with this for the rest of our life. So if you believe you're going to have to live with this for the rest of your life, guess what? You're going to have to live with this for the rest of your life. The first step of overcoming trauma is understanding that it is overcomable. So here's the three things that I learned in the context of the umbrella of trauma is overcomable. One, doesn't get better over time. So if you don't do anything about it, it's going to keep going. And it's not like you're going to have to live with it. You're going to have to live with it as it continues to increase and impact your life and potentially impact your health. Have you had inflammation? You have issues with arthritis or maybe overeating or maybe overweight or indulging with a little bit too much sugar, alcohol, or smoking? Do you have mental health issues? Are you under antidepressants? This is all conditions that are described in people who have not processed trauma. It's a direct consequence. So yeah, it might get worse. Is that what you want? Can you continue living like this? How long has it been? How much does it cost you every day? So thing number one is it doesn't get better over time. It gets worse. And you might have to bear consequences. And then what might happen is, well, you might have some chronic disease or worse, not be there for your kids for as long as you wanted to, not be the role model that you wanted to be for them. Second thing is, you don't have to talk about what happened to you. You don't. You just need to find support from people who know how to do that, how to help you process trauma without having you to talk about it. That's what I learned because I couldn't find a practitioner that would help me because I thought I would have to talk about it. So I found a modality that includes what we call gentle techniques, where you actually can process some trauma from your body without having to express it verbally. You express it differently, but not to someone outwardly. The third thing that I have learned through this experience is the issue is never the issue. The issue is never the issue. My clients come to see me for a specific thing. Maybe it's OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder, or it's a professional challenge with their boss. So they want to change jobs, or they were laid off and they want to find another job. And maybe they had a dream to move somewhere else in the country and they still haven't done it and have no idea how to do it or not the courage. So that's the presenting issue. And when I work with them, we do archaeology of the mind, as I like to call it. And we go deeper and deeper into the root cause of what actually is holding them back, their dragons, whatever is under the bed, under the rug, in the closet, with younger parts of themselves shouting in the dark for being helped. The issue is never the issue. And when we touch that root cause, then we can untangle the knots from our brain. And when you start seeing these shifts that we call cognitive shifts, then the brain starts rewiring the different connections. And your body, you would still remember what happened to you, but your body doesn't get triggered anymore. That's that freedom. When you reach that state, there is something very special happening. When it happened to me, I had worked with several practitioners without talking about what happened to me over the course of several weeks, not months, not years. And one day I woke up and I had a happy memory from my childhood and I reconnected to what happened to me and it didn't trigger me anymore. I felt a level of freedom I hadn't felt for decades. I want to say forever, because all of this started before I was 6, before I was verbal as a child. So that level of freedom was new to me. I felt like I was like floating over the ground for like a couple of weeks. And it was like a switch. It felt like a liberation, truly. And that's when I like to say, I did not find or decide to forgive. It's the wrong direction when we say that. It's not how it happened. What happened is forgiveness found me. Super powerful. Forgiveness found me. I didn't have to forgive anyone. So if you're tired of all of this frustration, not being able to be your own self, you have your own true identity, not being able to live your true purpose because you're held back by all this stuff. Even if you're super successful, you know that you're not exactly in the right place. You know that there's something better for you. But I invite you to choose to accept, even if it's just a little part of your brain, to accept that it is possible to get out of this mess, to get out of the woods, out of the long tunnel of darkness in your life. And if you do, then I'm here. Because I can only work with people who know that they have issues to work on. They don't know how to solve them. That's okay. We'll work together on that. But they decide that they want to do something about it. What I offer doesn't take years. We're talking about weeks, maybe month, couple months, 3 months. And if it doesn't work after several weeks, just move on, do something else, try another modality. And I'll help you find that. What I've seen so far is significant shifts in people that help them then move on to other adventures, find other opportunities, finally find their path to new opportunities. And that's why I say I help people from hardship to happy. I help parents or young professionals or successful professionals for years and years to not be stuck anymore and find their own path to a life they love even more. Because you can be the architect of your life, but all these manifestation techniques, if you still carry a burden of trauma in your body, it's going to pull you back systematically. So you can repeat all these beautiful manifestation sentences and it's not doing anything in your life and you wonder why. So what I offer is let's fix the baggage and let's work on manifestation as we fix the body and the baggage, process all that trauma, so that you can get free to really dream the life that you would love living. All right, how do I do that? Does it matter? You can look on my website. And then if you want to go further, you can sign up for Basecamp. Basecamp is really a private membership. And you go in and you have a mini course that helps you understand the whole mechanism of this. There's a whole module on manifestation, but a whole module on trauma and understanding what's underlying. And then there's a whole other module on grounding, with breathing techniques and tapping and other things. And then I have like a weekly chat, a coffee chat with my people behind closed doors. And then when people are ready, they can sign up for working with me. But I won't give you the details here. You'll figure it out. Let's just talk. It won't cost you anything. It's not a commitment to working with me. It's a commitment to yourself to finally take a step to get out of this tunnel of yours. I'll see you on the other side.